Today, we're diving into something really important. It's a story about a future that's kind of on hold, a story about hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian families who came to America for safety, but are now facing this huge uncertainty that could put everything they're building right here at risk.
You know, since early 2022, thousands and thousands of families have fled the war and have been trying to rebuild their lives here in the US. But now, a new challenge is putting all of that in jeopardy. So the big question we really need to ask is, what does their future in America actually hold?
Okay, so first, let's just get real and look at what's happening on the ground. This is really about a promise that was made during a crisis, a promise that's now just hanging in the balance, and it's leaving so many people's journeys totally unfinished.
So check out this number, roughly 260,000. That's about how many Ukrainians the United States has welcomed under a special program called Uniting for Ukraine. And it was frankly a remarkable lifeline, a real testament to American generosity. But remember, these aren't just statistics. We're talking about families, engineers, doctors, and kids who are now your neighbors, starting over in our communities.
But, and this is a big but, here's the problem. Their legal status is temporary. It was meant to be a quick emergency fix, not a long-term plan. So what that means is that these families are living in a constant state of legal limbo. I mean, can you imagine trying to build a life, sign a lease on an apartment, plan for your kids' school, get a stable job, all while knowing that your right to even be here could just expire? It completely undermines the very reason they came here in the first place, for stability.
Now, this isn't just a humanitarian issue, and this is really important. It's also an economic one. Let's shift gears for a second and talk about what's at stake for the United States, because the contribution this community already makes is, well, it's absolutely staggering.
Whoa, just look at this number. $55 billion. According to a new report from the ISE Group, that's the revenue that businesses founded by Ukrainian Americans generate every single year. That's not a small piece of the pie, that's a massive economic engine right there. And what about those businesses? Well, they support around 300,000 jobs for Americans. We're talking about local jobs in all 50 states, all created and kept going by the entrepreneurial spirit of this community.
And on top of all that, they're paying somewhere between $8 and $9 billion in federal, state, and local taxes every single year. That's money that helps fund our schools, our roads, and our public services. This is a community that doesn't just show up, they actively contribute and strengthen our economy.
And if you're wondering how they make such a big impact, this chart right here tells a huge part of the story. A full 56% of Ukrainian immigrants have a college degree or higher, so you've got people arriving with incredible skills, ambition, and they are ready to contribute from day one. All the data shows this is a community that values hard work, family, and fits right into American life. Giving them stability isn't just the compassionate thing to do, it is, without a doubt, a smart economic investment for all of us.
So, with the stakes this high for everyone, what's the solution? How do we fix this? Well, the good news is there is a clear, professional plan already in motion to tackle this uncertainty head-on. And it's called the Voice4UA initiative.
So what is Voice4UA? Well, at its heart, it's a coalition of partners with one very specific mission: to advocate in Washington, D.C. for a clear, legal, long-term solution for all the Ukrainians who came here after the war started. It's about taking that temporary promise of safety and turning it into a permanent reality of stability.
And this part is crucial. This isn't just a grassroots hope or a prayer. It's a professional operation. You can see the team here. You've got community organizers, you've got a registered nonprofit to handle the finances so everything is transparent, and this is the key, you have a professional DC strategy and lobbying firm that knows exactly whose door to knock on in Congress. This whole structure is built to be effective.
The initiative has a very clear and specific fundraising goal: $100,000. And this isn't for some vague overhead. This money directly funds 6 months of intensive professional advocacy. It pays for the strategy, the travel to DC, and all the meetings needed to get this in front of the right lawmakers and make the case for a real legislative solution.
Now, I know $100,000 can sound like a huge number, but look at how achievable this actually is when you break it down. If just 2,000 people chip in $50, that's it. The entire 6-month campaign is funded. That just shows you the incredible power of people coming together. Every single dollar, seriously, helps move this thing forward. Okay, but the big question, can this actually work in today's Washington? Is this kind of thing even possible? The answer is yes. And that's because this plan isn't some shot in the dark. It's based on a successful bipartisan precedent from our own very recent history.
So get this, back in 2019, Congress passed something called the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Act. For years, Liberian nationals were in the exact same boat, living in the US with temporary status, facing total uncertainty. This law created a path for them to get permanent status. And here's the absolute key. It was a bipartisan bill. Both parties came together, and it was signed into law by President Donald Trump. This just proves that solving these kinds of problems doesn't have to be a partisan fight. It can be an American priority.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? Look, there are no 100% guarantees in politics, we all know that. But what this precedent proves, powerfully, is that a pathway exists. This is real. Our system is designed to do this when the work is done right, when it's done professionally. This is a proven strategy.
So all of this brings us to the final and honestly the most important part of this whole story. We've seen the problem, we've seen the economic stakes, and we've seen the plan. So now, let's talk about how you can be a part of the solution.
It really comes down to 3 simple, direct things you can do. First, if you're able to, please donate to the campaign. Remember, even $50 makes a huge difference. Second, share this story. Share the link. Getting the word out is an incredibly powerful tool. And third, if you have skills, maybe in design or translation or outreach, you can volunteer your time.
And we've made it super easy to get involved. You can just pull out your phone right now and scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you straight to the GoFundMe page, and you can follow the whole journey, get all the updates by following @Voice4UA on Instagram. It's a chance to be a part of this and watch your support turn into real-world action.
So we end right here with this question. Can a coalition of regular citizens, community partners, and professional advocates actually pave the way for thousands of families to build a secure future in America? The historical precedent says yes. The plan is in place, so really the answer now rests with all of us.